Hi everyone, and welcome to day 3 of me reviewing my 2025. Today I will be looking at my financial and economic development. Disclaimer: I'm not a financial expert, and in fact, I'm just a regular person who dared to understand money better this year. Let's get into it. Financial and economic development in 2025. What was it like? I'll look at first financial intelligence and stewardship, right? Starting first with financial literacy. Yes, this year I understood how basic financial concepts operate. Not like I didn't know before, but this year I was more intentional about understanding, and I'll explain why in a bit. I sort of got to understand better how expenses, savings, investments, incomes, and debts, and all of those things, how they operate in real life situation. And budgeting and cash flow management. This year, more than ever, I was able to track my income, my expenses, and plan for my needs. I'll tell you why in a bit. This is the one year that I didn't work a lot. For context, I only worked in the first quarter of 2025. So it meant that I had to be very prudent. I had to be intentional about my finances for the remaining part of the year. And leading me to the next one, investing and wealth building. Because I knew I wasn't going to be able to work for the rest of the year after the first quarter, I had to be smart about my finances. I selfishly invested a lot this year. It's quite ironic, right, that this year I worked the least, yet this year I invested more. It's a thing with when necessity, they say necessity is the mother of invention. Because I already knew what was going to happen as a smart woman, I knew you don't want to be a full-time dependent on anybody, so you have to be smart about what you have at the moment. That's what I did. I made less money this year, so I basically took a break from every money making venture after the first quarter of the year. So the last time I worked this year was March, end of March this year. I took a break, and like I said, I consciously made good investments to ensure that I still had cash inflow and I had something to fall back on. This is not a paid advert or anything, but I used 2 apps a lot. I used Bamboo app for Nigeria, stocks and all of those things, and I used Trading 212 app. Because I'm not advertising them, but you can check them out if you're really looking to get into that investing world. I'm not giving financial advice, so do your research and consult the right people. But these are the 2 apps that I used this year, and I'm just talking about them because I'm a satisfied customer. Great. I won't go into details about all of the investments, but so just know that this year I was able to give myself some level of financial security. I lived off my savings a lot this year, and of course, my mobile ATM. My husband. That's what I did. Let's talk about that a little bit. I know you might be wondering, oh, why did you stop working in March, and why didn't you do anything else for the rest of the year? Sometimes, I know it's not really the best, but sometimes you just want to take a break and reassess, re-strategize, observe, learn, not just get into things because it sounds fancy. I took my time after that period in March. I took my time to really think about my life and try to observe, try to learn things. I was heavy on investing in myself, my personal development, and all of that. And also, I just needed a break. Thankfully to God, I had the luxury of just taking that break and just focusing on myself and building myself for a bit. Other people may not be able to have the opportunity, but thank God I was able to get that done, because now I feel like I am in a better place to forge ahead, financially speaking, in the year 2026. Let's look at productivity and value creation. Of course, we know that to make money, you have to provide some sort of product, some sort of service. You have to create some sort of value for which people will be able to reward you with. Either you're gainfully employed, or you are selling something, or you're providing a service that people are paying for. You have to be productive. You have to provide value that will be appreciated, and in turn bring you some financial advantage. This year I was largely unproductive. In previous years, I do some businesses by the side, but this year I was largely unproductive. Yes, I told you it was going to be an honest review. Listen and don't judge. I was largely unproductive this year. I didn't do my businesses that I would normally do this year. What it meant was that I didn't create anything. I didn't provide any service. I didn't sell anything. I didn't do anything that was going to bring me financial reward. And like I said, I lived up my savings and my mobile aid here, my husband. And what else do I want to say? Like I said, I took a break after the first quarter. So the only reason I was actually able to do that was because I have been able to create some sort of financial safety net for myself. That's why I could just do that, knowing that all things being equal, with the budget that I have created for myself and with all the projections that I was making, that by the end of this year I would not be lacking. And that's what has happened. Thankfully my plan worked. I'm not lacking, right? Just because of the safety net, planning, budgeting. Please don't go leaving your job and saying you want to rest for the rest of the year. No, don't do that. I had to do that on purpose for me to achieve something else. There was like an opportunity cost. Great, Christian. Kingdom prosperity principles and the capacity to fund purpose and help others. First quarter of this year, I was able to measure up to my financial expectations regarding to giving. For the first quarter, there was no income coming in, so I had to be more prudent. If I didn't even have free access to the resources that I had because they were invested or in savings accounts that I just didn't have free access to just take out anytime I wanted. It meant that my ability to help others the way that I normally would do reduced drastically. My ability to fund certain things that I would normally fund reduced drastically. My ability to give towards the cause of kingdom advancement, all of that reduced drastically just because I wasn't getting any income and the resources that I had were already safely invested and put aside as a safety net. Kingdom prosperity principles and capacity to fund purposes and help others flourished in the first quarter of 2025. However, after that, there wasn't much that happened there. Again, what worked in 2025? You already know that. I made a wise decision to make investments when the resources were readily available. That helped me to create a safety net for myself and allowed me to be able to take that break when I needed to take the break and not suffer financially, right? Another thing that worked for me was budgeting. Budgeting put me in a safe space this year. With limited resources, I needed to maximize the available one. So I was able to budget. I didn't spend anything that I could not account for. I didn't splurge this year. I was just very prudent with my expenses. I only did things that needed to be done. If it wasn't necessary, I wouldn't do it. That was how I operated this year, and it worked for me. Where did not work? You already know that by now. First, I failed to diversify my source of income effectively. So we live in a digital age where a lot of people that I spoke to about this were like, okay, you're a brilliant mind. There's so many things you can do. You don't have to be quote unquote employed. There are just so many things you can do. This is a digital age. Yes, I agree with that, and I'm learning that, and I'm going forward into 2026. I am going to actually utilize all of the information, all of the researches that I have done on this whole idea of diversifying my source of income, taking advantage of the digital age that we live in. I'm going to effectively put all of that into practice in 2026. But in 2025, my honest review is that I failed to diversify my sources of income. I just wanted to rest and focus on myself and do a little bit of stuff for myself. And yeah, financially speaking, that was a disaster. That was a failure. Second thing, I failed to create value that could have fetched financial reward while I was taking a break. Like I said, we're living in a digital age. I could have created value that would have paid me, but I didn't do that. And that was a failure. I've learned from it. Going into 2026, I'm going to do differently. The third thing that didn't work was that I prioritized safety over calculated risks. I could have done more. Even though I was out of employment, I could have actually done more. I could have digital age. I could have explored more, but instead, I just decided, you know what, I'm going to put my resources that I have available into safety places that I know I'm not going to lose them out. I could have actually done better with my available resources, but I didn't. I was playing safe rather than taking calculated risks. While playing safe is important, we all know that wealth is not created in safety. You have to take risks, calculated risks. You have to actually go out there and do something. I didn't do that this year, right? That is it for my financial development this year. Recap, I learned a lot about money. I did investments and I failed. I failed at diversifying my source of income. I failed at creating value. I failed at taking advantage of the digital age that we are living in. And going into 2026, we are doing differently because it's going to be a year that we will take steps, progressive steps towards wealth creation. All right, thank you so much for watching today's episode, today's review. Join me again tomorrow when I'll be reviewing another aspect of my life. I think I will actually be reviewing my mental, intellectual, and personal development tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Please keep liking, sharing, and commenting. I will see you again tomorrow. God bless you. Bye.